Hello, YouTube. It's me, John Avenger, once again, and welcome to another Movies That Start with a Consonant month. There, I said it right. And we're up to the letter K now. This is a movie that was a catastrophe from the word go. It was the first summer movie to come out after Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. It is a terrible freaking movie, and that is King Arthur and the Legend of the Sword. Hold on, let me just compose myself because, God, this movie was freaking terrible. Yeah, basically, they Guy Ritchie did his version of King Arthur, which was just not good at all. Like this movie bites the big one. It's one of the worst films of 2017. It's a terrible summer movie. It deserved to bomb. It was making me sick to my stomach. Like some of the shaky cam in this movie, just it made Man of Steel look like it's freaking, like not even like Cloverfield. It made Man of Steel look like the Avengers in comparison. Just saying, this is a terrible freaking movie. If you have not seen King Arthur and the Legend of the Sword, don't. You're gonna waste your freaking time. I saw this because I wanted to see a bad movie that I had not seen a franchise of in a while. Because the last King Arthur movie I saw was, I think it was A Kid in King Arthur's Court back in the '90s. Not a big fan of this character. I mean, he can be done right. Like I love the Disney version of The Sword and the Stone. That's a really well done movie, and it's under 2 hours. This is a waste of every person that was in this movie. It's a waste. Charlie Hunnam is a terrible lead. He is doing Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Lances. He wishes he was Jason Statham. He would have sold this movie a lot better. Jude Law's wasted as a villain. He's barely in the movie. He's very flamboyant and doesn't really do much. Astra's Frisbee from Pirates 4, the movie my friend can't stand. She plays a mage in the movie, and she has nothing to do. She's basically just a female Merlin and has her eyes glow, and that's all she does in the freaking movie. That's all she does. Other people just wasted. You have, I think Jaman Hansu is in the movie, and he's wasted. You have an Asian guy named George. What does martial arts have to do with King Arthur, Guy Ritchie? Who was the market you were trying to sell this movie to? Who is your target audience? Tell me. It wasn't the people that saw the Sherlock Holmes movies or Snatched or freaking Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. This is nothing like them. This is a nauseating movie. It has horrendous CGI, and I mean horrendous CGI. As soon as Arthur like grabs the sword, like in the third act, he's moving like he's freaking He-Man and freaking Zorro. It's ridiculous. It looks freaking terrible. It's like he's going Super Saiyan, but not in the way that Thor did in Thor Ragnarok. That was badass with his eyes going zzz. That's awesome. That's not a spoiler. They showed it in the trailer. But good God, this movie it's boring. The only really good thing in this movie is the score. The score is fan freaking tastic. Like when he first takes the sword out of the stone, I love that piece of score. It's one of the best musical scores I've heard this year. That will give the Last Jedi a freaking run for its money because Episode 7 had a shitty score. This at least had a decent score. It's nice to listen to, but God, this movie hurts to watch. It's almost 2 hours long. I'm not going to say because it's British it sucked. No, because most of the cast in this are not from Game of Thrones. So I can at least give them that, mostly. Annabelle Wallis, she sucked in The Mummy. She sucks here. She's completely forgettable. Eric Bana is in the beginning of the movie in a flashback, and then he disappears. I think he gets killed off. You don't have to tell me, Sean. I know. I saw this movie. You didn't. This is terrible. Don't watch this. Please do not watch this. You're going to waste your time. The effects, like I said, you have a fat squid-like lady that looks like Ursula from The Little Mermaid. You have a giant snake that's like a ripoff of Voldemort from Harry Potter and the later sequels. You have a giant rat. You have freaking, I don't even know what, there's a giant elephant straight out of Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, that giant elephant looks a lot better than in this movie. Because that movie had a bigger budget, it was ambitious. It's an epic film, even though it's way too long. But this movie is just boring. They show Arthur as a little kid, and he's like pale, and he's frowning. He's like, "What are you looking at?" It's terrible. This movie bites. It's so boring. It's so slow paced, and the movie has to explain itself. Like it's too talky. It's way too talky. Everybody in this movie is acting like they're in a Shakespeare play, and it's not. It's badly written. Whoever wrote the script did not do a good job. My friend likes Guy Ritchie's films, like the Sherlock Holmes films. It's fine. This is his worst movie. Out of all the films that he's made that I have not watched yet, but I've seen clips of them, I'd rather watch Man from U.N.C.L.E. than this. Because at least Man from U.N.C.L.E., yeah, it has Henry Cavill, but he doesn't do any crazy things like in this movie. He doesn't grab a sword or a gun and it's like... That's just ridiculous. Why would they think that that would work in a Hollywood movie? And this movie has a big budget. This costs over $100 million. I don't see that on the screen. With Guardians 2, I did. With Spider-Man Homecoming, I did. With Wonder Woman, I did. Even freaking Blade Runner 2049. That movie's ambitious and intriguing and well done. And it's a very long movie. This movie is shorter than that, and it's boring. The action is just dull and lifeless. It's an ugly looking movie, just like the last Underworld. Yeah, I take a crack at that. I can't review it, but I already ranted on it. You doesn't count this month, so. But this movie is terrible. This is one of the worst of the year. Honest to God, it is. It's boring. If you find this on Black Friday, just drop it. Throw it on the ground and don't look back. This is the worst King Arthur movie I've ever watched. I skipped the First Night movie from the 90s. I skipped the 2004 King Arthur movie with Clive Owen and with Keira Knightley because I'm not a fan. And then this one, it's painful. It's painful. I'd rather watch Excalibur from the 80s. At least that doesn't have horrendous CGI and it's not giving us exposition up the ass. This movie's doing that. The final battle is just, I don't even know what's going on. It's freaking Charlie Hunnam fighting Jude Law, and it's very underwhelming. It's very anticlimactic. The round table appears at the very end, and the knights don't do anything. And the ending is basically Arthur showing the freaking sword in the sky, and then the movie ends. That's your epic freaking King Arthur movie. Really. I feel bad for Comic Book Girl 19, I think, yeah. She saw this movie and she said she threw up. I don't blame you. If you have suffered from motion sickness and you don't want to see the camera going crazy, and so this movie is it like they said in the freaking in the Double Toasted review back in May, this is the most insane King Arthur movie ever. This makes Monty Python and the Holy Grail look like freaking Titanic or Godfather. Seriously. I haven't even seen that movie, but I'm like, at least it's a low budget and it knows what it is. This, I don't know what it is. What is this? An action movie? A drama? A freaking epic fantasy? What is it? I don't know, Guy Ritchie. What are you freaking trying to compare here? What are you trying to show us? I don't know. I'm completely lost. It is a terrible movie. It flopped for a reason. This is this year's Ben-Hur from the Ben-Hur from last year, not the 50s version. It's horribly done. The camera's not steady. They edit way too much. Like there's a scene, then another scene happens, then another scene happens, then another scene happens. It gets you crazy, you know? And I don't know what to think. I don't know. I'm never gonna watch this movie again. You're wasting a cast. You're wasting a interesting character that could have been done better. A big budget doesn't mean the movie's going to be good. If the writing sucks and the effects are terrible and your actors don't care, they're there to get a paycheck, yeah, it's going to show, and it fails. Just like Man from U.N.C.L.E. 2 years ago. I don't know what else to say about King Arthur and the Legend of the Sword. It's a horrible movie. If you didn't see it in theaters, good. Don't watch it. It is not recommended. Even laughing at it, it's painful to get through the almost 2 hour running time of this movie. It's just horrendously bad. They did not learn anything from the last failure of King Arthur in the 2000s. Yeah. What else are they going to do? What else is going to get rebooted? Oh, yeah, Robin Hood. They're doing another Robin Hood next year. Why? Fantasy films only work if they're called Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, or others. Like the first Narnia did really well. But recently, they haven't been doing so well. Or The Hobbit. Now you got freaking King Arthur and a boring ass Robin Hood that came out in 2010 and Red Riding Hood and all this. I'm like, why? And then they spend millions of dollars thinking they're going to make it back. No one saw this movie and said, you know what? That's going to be a huge hit. No. Any movie that comes out after a Marvel movie is doomed when it's like the week after. It's just doomed. That's why I'm glad Thor this weekend is going to beat freaking Murder on the Orient Express. You know why I'm not seeing that movie. You know why. But yeah, this King Arthur movie sucks. Take this, King Arthur, and shove it. You don't deserve to be in the same realm as movies like Guardians 2 and Wonder Woman and Spider-Man Homecoming and Blade Runner 2049 and even the Lego Batman movie. That's a lower budget than this, and it's better. It's not boring. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I didn't do a send-off yesterday. I want to make sure that I say goodbye this time. Take it easy. Do not see King Arthur and the Legend of the Sword. This is the worst version of it. It's sucky. It's slow. It's boring. It's a waste of this cast. It has no ambition. It just fails. And there were going to be 6 more of these? Yeah. Tough luck, Guy Ritchie. You were the wrong choice for this. Go back to doing Sherlock Holmes. Because that's at least... I would sit through those over this any day. Later.